pretty grateful for it. That's for sure.
Right?
So you want to hear something really funny? I haven't had the audio on this entire time, and I just now found out about it. Isn't that funny?
Oh,
Super unprofessional. Yeah.
how did you
It's
not
funny.
know that?
I'm not very smart. Well, technically, I had it on so we could hear each other, but I had it muted so that we could talk smack about each other before we went live without anybody hearing that.
I thought it was so you couldn't hear me chewing. What do I know?
No, but I have found out that you're a chomper.
I am
It's the best way to
absolutely.
be.
Uh, it's more effective that way. It's easier to taste your food. I just made that up. I totally just
I
made that up.
like that. No napkin.
So what everybody missed was basically nothing. But I had asked a question whether or not the players were playing, having tables to hit on, and Jennifer said
Yes, absolutely. I have
every
my own
single
pool
day.
room. I have 12 tables and two three cushion tables to play pool on.
Have you been hitting on any of the billiards tables?
I have not. No.
It's such a hard game. Beautiful game, hard game.
Such a great game. Oh my God.
So hard though.
Mad respect for the people who play it well.
My favorite saying, my favorite saying that I've heard: if you hit a ball with the perfect speed, with the perfect amount of spin on the perfect line, then and only then do you have a chance of scoring in billiards.
I love it. Yeah.
Have you ever played any three cushion April?
Uh, Maybe one time for like 15 seconds, and then after that, I was about done with that game real quick.
It's super tough.
Yeah. Wasn't, I mean, at the time, I was really young too, so I wasn't interested in anything but games where you just make balls. So,
And you do that so well. So,
oh man,
I agree.
girl, says the number one pool player on the tour.
oh, come
Look at
on.
you, for real.
All right, hair flip.
Yep, there it is. I love it.
This is fun stuff. Well, so this was a request. I'm going to be asking some questions that were a request from a friend of mine. And the first one is, how did you two get involved into pool? So, April, would you like to answer first?
Sure. So I got involved in pool because my whole dad's side of the family played on like a league, a team together, and they still do. But I decided to go with one day and just loved seeing the family. And I had also tried every other sport um, of God's creation and sucked at every single one. And I was like,
I don't
I'm done
believe
with this.
that.
Oh,
I
honey, I
don't
was the
believe it.
goalie in soccer. That means that you're not good at soccer. They want you to be the
Oh,
goalie. So yeah, no, I started playing one night because I got kind of bored of homework and everything. And I actually made a ball or two, and I was like, ooh. I was like, maybe this is my calling, and then it kind of went from there.
I still get that excited every time I make a ball. So, Jennifer,
I've seen it.
I
Yeah.
know.
Um, yeah. Well, I was actually similar. I was looking for something to do. I just moved to New York City, looking for something to do. I was a tennis player growing up, so I tried to play tennis. It was so expensive, and then a friend of mine was into ballroom dancing, and I went with her once, and I was like, "This is great. I want to do this." And same thing, so expensive. And then my ex-husband and I, we walked into a pool room, just because we did a lot of competitive stuff together, and he was always better. I mean, most of it was very athletic, like snowboarding and um, you know, baseball and things like that, where of course he's better than me. So we go into a pool room and we play a few games and he beats me. And I'm like, why is he better than me at this? It didn't make sense because it didn't seem like strength was involved. It didn't seem like, there was any reason for it. So I got mad and I was like, I'm going to call around and I'm going to get secret lessons and I'm going to come back and I'm going to kick his butt. So I called around and I found Chelsea Billiards at the time. They had a pool school And I started doing that. It was like $5 an hour. And the first night I was there, the instructor gave me a drill, and it was just a straight in drill. And by the end of it, he came back to me and he said, you have some natural ability at this. If you wanted to be a professional, you could probably do it. And I was so excited. I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And from that moment, all I did was play pool. I just loved it. I loved it like a husband.
That's awesome.
Like a really abusive husband.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've never heard anybody describe pool in such a weird, loving kind of way.
Yeah, no, it was like a love story with me and pool.
I always describe it as like the child I never wanted. I think that's the
Aww.
way As Chris Robinson joins the stream. Hi, Chris. Aren't you supposed to be playing? Just kidding. Have you been
I was
watching?
just watching him earlier, playing Tyler. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So anybody who's watching this that wants some pool content, they will be starting back up again, I believe, in about 45 minutes. So you can hang out, listen to us, and then at the end of it, head over to On the Wire Media and check out the match because it's a pretty good one. Is it 16 to 12?
10.
16 to 10 at the first break. So, but Chris is going to come out firing in the second session, I think. Mm-hmm. Well, so I think a fun topic that we could talk about, and this was also a request from my friend Tracy who wrote these in. Do you think that the Fargo ratings for men and women, do you think that those are perfectly accurate to go back and forth between the genders?
Wow, that's a tough question. I think that it's pretty close. Well, let's put it this way. What is, say, like Seeming Chen? What is her Fargo? I don't know.
I think she's just under an 800 or an 800. I think.
And what's Shane?
826.
I don't know. How would she do against Shane? It depends on the game. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, at least in Asia, the break is Magic Rack 9-ball. And maybe Magic Rack 9-ball she can play as well as anybody in the world. But if we're talking about 10-ball, either like Rack Your Own or Magic Rack 10-ball even, maybe not. I don't know. It's just hard to say, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I was gonna suggest possibly too, was maybe even like one pocket, because the break isn't really a factor in the game. I mean, and not a big break isn't a factor in the game. But what are your thoughts on that, April?
It's tough. It's really tough because I mean, for women, we're mostly just playing against women. Do you know, like other women? So like if we play against Seeming Chen and we beat her, that's like saying like we beat Shane, since they're so close in ratings. So I mean, I don't know how you're never gonna get a perfectly accurate rating system, in my opinion. Like everything will be able to be finessed and somebody will figure it out. But I think Fargo is decently accurate as far as, like for women playing women. I think that that's pretty accurate as far as like the same rating men and women. I really don't know. I mean, I feel like it would be fun to test to see like.
Yeah.
And I did look up.
That's the thing. A lot of us play, like, I don't know how many men's tournaments you play in, but right. I play in a lot of men's tournaments, and maybe that can make you artificially low. I don't know how that works.
Right.
Yeah. And I did look up Seeming Chen. She has a 795 Fargo. So pretty good. And it's actually kind of funny because Justin Bergman is a 793. So how would those two match up? It's a fun thought experiment.
Depends on the game, maybe. Depends on depends on the game.
It's kind of a fun thought experiment. So, given the Fargo rate, would you rather play in a men's event or a women's event? If Fargo rate was so let's just say, Jennifer, you're like 680 Fargo?
Something like that. I haven't looked in a while.
So would you rather play a Fargo capped 680 men's or women's event, or open or women's event?
I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
Just
I just
you just
enjoy
want to play the
competition.
table.
I don't. Yeah.
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 Yeah, because you
Basically,
do play in a lot of open events, like you said. You play.
I play in way more
Yeah.
men's events than women's
Yeah.
events, and that I mean, maybe that keeps my Fargo rate like more in line with what the guys are, as opposed to being higher by only playing in the women's events. I don't know. Maybe.
It's a pretty good thought experiment. What would you
Yeah.
rather play in April? Would you rather play in men's events, opens events, or would you rather play against the women then?
I would rather play against the men, if like money wasn't an issue, you know what I mean? But I think I have a better chance in the women's just because of past history, I guess you could say. So I hope that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I want the good competition, but in order to enter some of the men's professional, it's like a $500 or $1,000 entry fee. And I don't have money growing on my back tree. So if that was a thing, I would definitely prefer to play with the men, especially out in Vegas this year. Like watching them
Yeah.
and not being able to compete with them was tough because I just wanted to like jump in and play against one of them. But maybe next year
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, there's definitely an excess of men's events, or I should say open events, because Jennifer plays in all of the basically mostly men's events, right? Besides the WPA, that's pretty much the only women's
Yeah.
events that you play in.
I mean, I don't play in a ton of the top male events, just because what April said. The entry fee sometimes is $1,000, or 500 maybe I'll do, but even then, the competition is just, the field is so much deeper than a women's field. It's really easy to get knocked out of a men's event. But I play in a lot of like men's open events, like local open events, like the Predator Tour
Yeah.
or the Mez Tour, something like that.
Or Turning Stone. You had a great finish at Turning Stone this
Turning
year.
Stone, that's it. Yeah, the Joss Tour, that's the other one. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I play in it every time they have it.
Yeah. We actually we have a and we probably shouldn't do this, and I probably shouldn't say we do this, but we have this group of people that we play a Scotch ring game still with, and we're all social distancing. The only time that we aren't social distancing is when we play our Scotch matchup once a week, and we just basically let YouTube go run wild. And your match came up actually this year against some older guy. You beat him 9-0 or 9-1 at Turning Stone this year.
Oh.
I don't know the guy's name. He was an
Oh.
older guy, but.
Yeah, I don't even remember that.
But YouTube chose you.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So April, you play in the WPBA events as well. You also play in some of the regional open events, I'm assuming.
Like for, you mean men's?
Yeah.
Or the
Well,
women's? Oh.
either.
So for women's, I don't think that there is really like a regional tour anymore. Like unless it's, so there's the NAPT and there's the WPBA, and right now they're kind of
They don't like each other.
clashing a little bit. So
Yeah, I've heard the beef for that. They don't like each other.
yeah, no, and it's really unfortunate
It
because
is.
all these events would be so good for women. I don't know enough to go off about it, but I just wish we could figure something out, because then more tournaments, better, like we'll be more performance ready, I guess you could say, because we'll be constantly playing tournaments. But when there was a regional tour, with the WPBA, or I could play NAPT, I did play a lot of those too. But now it's mostly just WPBA I'm playing, because a lot of like the big men's open or events are all on Bar Box in Minnesota or in the Midwest. And your homegirl here does not like the bar table, and the bar table does not like her. So
that makes two of us.
For real.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No. My cue ball finds any pocket way too easy. It'll go 5 rails and then into a pocket, and I'm like, all right, that's fine.
Those are like the only tables I can make a ball on. I love them. So if anybody out there is watching and wants to ask any questions, absolutely feel free to ask them at any time. We'll work them in. Carlos Sanchez does say, I remember playing Jennifer around 2004, and he still has the DVD. You should feel
Oh
special.
man, that's funny. That's really funny. A friend of mine, I think, was doing that in Vegas. I think that was in Las Vegas. And I had a friend who set up a booth and you could buy a DVD of you playing a pro. And it was so much fun. That was one of the most fun times that I had in Vegas.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mike Snodgrass asks, April, is Chris going to win this match against Tyler?
Ugh. I don't know. I mean, Chris is my home dog. He's my boy. You know, it's hard not to pull for him, but I've known Tyler longer, if not the same amount of time as Chris. So they're both like, I grew up with them, so I can't really I don't know. They're both, I hope they just play good. That's the thing, is they're kind of getting settled in right now, and I just want them to play their best. You know what I mean? I feel like it's not their best right now. So
Yeah.
it'll be fun to see once they both start playing 100%.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Jennifer?
I just don't know Chris's game well enough. Obviously, I've seen Tyler play in Moscone, and he's wildly dedicated to the game. From what I see, I've been in Griff's when he was practicing on the next table with the coach. What's his name?
Johan.
That guy. Yeah. And you can tell he still loves the game and he's still learning and everything. But I just haven't really experienced seeing Chris play, so I can't really say.
Yeah, for sure. So Michael Fiore asks, Jennifer, what cue do you use and how long you've been playing with that cue maker? And I can open this up to both of you, of course.
Well, I have been playing with I was playing with a Predator Z3 for a lot of years, and then when the carbon fiber shafts came out, I started playing with the 12.4 Revo, and I've been with that for a couple of years now, and I love it. I have a P3.
April?
So I play obviously with the Peach Shower. I'm a Peach Shower gal. So I have the Peach Shower Manchester series, and it's through the Camelot Pro series, and I just made a couple customizations to it, and I've been playing with that one specifically for 3 or 4 years, and then before that I had a different Peach Shower for the other 3 or 4 years that I've been with Peach Shower.
Got you. So I don't know if this is a question you guys want to address. Which American do you think will be the next rookie on the Moscone Cup team? Fedor seems to be a lock for the next rookie for Europe.
Go ahead, take it away, Jen.
Oh my God. Well, can you give me some choices? Because I just have no idea who's out there, to be honest.
So
I'm sort of...
This is not necessarily I guess Max Eberle would be considered a rookie. He's never played before. Chris Robinson would be considered a rookie. Trying to think of other real, quote unquote, realistic rookies. There's always people like Shane McMinn or Alex Olinger, players that are on that level, just maybe below that level, but who could they're a good solid year away from being on that level.
Yeah. Well, I would say I'd like to see Chris Robinson. I mean, obviously, I'd love to see Max Eberle get a shot, and he certainly earned it last year. But I just feel like if it didn't happen last year, it's probably not going to happen. So.
And Max is a hell of a nice guy too.
Such a nice guy. I know.
Really
I've known
nice
him
guy
for a long time. Yeah.
April.
My homeboy Chris. Come on. I would freaking buy tickets to London if he got on that. Oh my gosh.
We'll buy tickets to London anyways. I'm going. We can hang out.
I'm going to do it anyway. Yeah, I want to go.
Are you guys actually both going?
Yeah, I already booked my tickets.
I think I'm going to go. I didn't book it, but I want to go.
Hey.
Well, the Cue It Up podcast is going to have a section. If you want to be in our section, you are more than welcome.
Yes, I do.
Oh, I just got 17 more people in my group now. That's pretty fun. So the next question I can ask, what are some of your favorite practice routines?
April.
You want me to go? Okay.
Yeah, you go.
I got to start
Shoot,
delegating.
I like practicing my break because we have been using template more and more in WPBA events. So I've been really trying to figure that out, like as best as I can because I've found something. There's always going to be a different sweet spot in every table and like rack and how the balls and conditions and everything play. But for my table, I've kind of found a sweet spot that's been working where I make like 2 or 3 balls pretty consistently. So if I could do that in a tournament, that would be pretty nice. Um, so I've been really, really, really trying to work on my break because I mean, like you said, the difference between Tyler and Chris right now is Tyler's break is just
The best.
freaking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And um, so other than the break, I mean, I like before I shoot, I like to shoot like straight in diagonal shots, like the full length of the table just to get dialed in.
That's what I do.
Yeah, and then like spot shots. I love spot shots.
I don't like those.
No.
Not even no, not even a little. No.
So those are my favorite things to do, but
Jennifer.
I guess my turn. Yeah, same thing with the break and the template, and we have a 3-point rule, so I know how to make a ball or 2 balls consistently. My issue is making sure that I have shape on the one. Not always easy to get the shape on the one and get the 2 balls in or whatever, and balls past the head string. So definitely working on that. Working on jump shots. Always worked a lot on my kicking. Never really worked on jump shots, so that's a weakness that I like to work on. And other than that, just basic fundamentals, like addressing the ball, stepping into the shot. Grip has been a big issue that I've changed my grip recently, and it's made a big difference. Swing, just all that stuff that makes you consistent, the stuff that makes you consistent.
Have you ever played golf, Jennifer? Or have you ever been a golfer?
No,
I'm gonna say
no, but
that would be
okay,
such a
go ahead.
bad game for you.
No, listen, I went like, okay, here's what happened. I went to play golf, and the first time I was there, I was like, I'm going to take a lesson because I hate doing anything without knowing like why. I want to know why. I want to know what I'm supposed to do. So I take the lesson, and the guy has me hitting the ball like pretty far and really straight. And he's like, there's no way this is the first time you play golf. And I felt like that same feeling that I have for pool. I was like, ooh, I want to. And then I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. Because at the time I was, already really deep into pool. So
Yeah, that would be a bad game for you. I think with the personality I think you have, that would be.
Yeah, no, I'm an addictive kind of. I'm like 100% all in all the time.
Yeah,
So
talking about like redoing your grip. Oh, I was really really big into golf like the last 2 years, and I think I completely redid my mechanics like 4 times. It was terrible. But
hey, you
it's
got to
such a
do what
fun
you got
game.
to do until it feels comfortable, until it feels
Yeah,
good, until it's repeatable. You need repeatable.
for sure. So this could be a fun question. What is one event that you would like to see in the future for women, like just a women's event? So of course the obvious one that a lot of people say is like a women's only Moscone type of style event. I think
I
April
mean, of
agrees.
course, I participated in one of those. We had the Queen's Cup in Manila. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
But it was only 1 year. It was what was it? England and USA against Asia. So it was like East versus West, basically.
it's awesome. I watched that
So fun.
when you guys
It was
played.
so fun. Oh my
It
God.
looked like a blast. I was
Yeah.
like, those girls have to be having so much fun right now.
So much fun.
Is that
I'd like to see a woman's like U.S. Open. I think that would be just something like, with that kind of money, with that kind of, because we had the Amway Cup, and then I don't know what happened to it specifically,
Yeah,
but
what
now we
happened to
don't.
that?
I think they lost the sponsor. I'm not sure, but I think they lost Amway. So I'd like to see something like that with like that would bring all the top players for sure, like guaranteed. You know what I mean? Like all the top players would be there. I think that would be fun because a lot of WPBA tournaments have a lot of top players, but they don't have like all of them
Mm-hmm.
in one tournament as much anymore. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Jasmine doesn't come to as many as she
Yep.
probably used to, in like
The Asian women.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Suming, Guy Young, all of them. I want to see a tournament like
Yeah.
that again.
Yeah. That's how it used to be. I mean, they all used to come and play on the WPBA, but the same for them. You know, they don't have a money tree in their backyard either.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't grow in Asia either.
That would be a really cool. That would be a really really cool style event. A women's only U.S. Open. That would be.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the other major sports have one. It seems like they should. It seems maybe Matchroom eventually will look into doing something like that.
Well, they made the junior one, like the junior U.S. Open, go on the same time as the normal U.S. Open. So I don't know. I might have to hit up Emily and be like, "Hey, friend."
Yeah. Yeah. So, question from the audience from Willie Ewings: how do you feel about money matches?
I play them all the time. Well,
I
don't know. Is money match and gambling the same thing? Maybe not.
Yeah,
money
probably.
Match is more like a Roy's Basement type thing. I gamble all the time. Love it.
So this is actually probably a perfect question for you, if because you do gamble anytime you can at your room, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't you think the
If
women?
someone comes in, I'll give them action.
Why don't you think that more women get into these higher dollar kind of matchups that the men seem to do all the time?
We have smaller egos, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
That could be an answer.
I don't know.
Any thoughts on that, April?
I think the reason that women don't play gambling matches as much is I feel like there is this huge like stereotypical like men are better than women. So unless a woman finds another woman interested, I feel like unlike Jennifer, because Jennifer's obviously played many men and does not care.
That's all I gamble with. I don't care.
Right. But I don't know if you agree with me, Jennifer, that like not a lot of females I feel like are as confident in their game in order like to be able to put up that money. Do you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
I feel like a lot of them are really really scared, you know, to make that leap and like put their own money on the line.
Well, but it's more than that because, you know, the guys aren't usually putting their own money on the line.
Right.
You know, they have someone behind them. And I think that women are less likely to have someone behind them like that.
That's valid.
People don't have the same amount of respect for women's pool that they have for men's pool. People, when they see pool, they want to see somebody who just never misses, who, you know, always kicks safe. You know what I mean? They want to see like, whatever.
As little mistakes.
And unfortunately, like even the best women don't really play like that. So.
Yeah. And when Joshua Filler can get 600 people watching him play the Ghost.
Speaks volumes for sure.
Yeah. Well, he's just a phenomenal player. I mean, there isn't a woman who plays at that level. I mean, am I wrong? I hate to say it, but I'm not wrong.
No.
I don't know that there's another man that plays at that level.
Man that plays at that level. I know, man. He plays the whole game, that guy. Wow. He's an amazing player.
Chang Jung Lin, maybe. I mean, Shane is a couple. You know, Shane is always there with his break, but
of course,
Joshua Filler is. Man,
complete
he's a good player.
Game.
Yeah, for sure. Marshall DeMose asks, who were the biggest influences at the beginning of your pool career, and then your favorite players at the beginning of your pool career? April, you want to go first?
Which one should go first?
Yeah, sure. At the beginning, I mean, it was hard to not look up to Shane. You know, he was number one when I started. You know, he was the talk of everything. Every pool hall, it was, did you see Shane did this? Did you see Shane did that? And I was just like infatuated with how good he was in his break and everything. But so that's probably the player I looked up to was Shane and Allison for the females. And then my favorite players now are, well, Allison's like my pool mom now. So her and I have like a really fun, goofy relationship that I feel like not a lot of people have off the table, you know, unless you're a player or you get to know her. So I'm very grateful I have that with her. And then for men, I really enjoy watching Sky Woodward play. I feel like he's got like the least amount of ego out of all the top male pros. That's just from like what I've seen. I can't, speak if he's ever done anything to anybody, but he seems pretty straight up and stand up. So
Sky is so relatable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's just a good, country boy, just a good
Yeah,
old fashioned dude.
Say, country folk.
Yes, anybody. Yeah, I mean, anybody who knows Sky, he's the same to his friends as he is to anybody that he meets in the stands of a Moscone Cup. He's just a good, genuine dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, Jennifer has a friend. Who's Jennifer's friend? Is it? Oh, it's the dog.
Oh, he's gonna steal my pizza crust. Okay, I'll let him.
You have the cutest little pup. That's your little pit.
I know, isn't he cute? That's my pit bull. He's not little. He's cute. So it's funny to hear April say that she looked up to Shane when she started, because Shane was a child when I started, and nobody even knew who he was. And I did an exhibition in South Dakota, and somebody was like, "Have you ever heard of Shane Van Boning?" I was like, "No." And they were like, "Well, you will." And I was like, "Okay." But I'll say that when I started playing, the player that I looked up the most to was Genki. Huge influence in my life, George Sansucci. He was local. He was a great player, very generous with his knowledge, always encouraged me. And I think that really, it's not only that I looked up to him, it's that I had that relationship with him where he pushed me to be a good player and taught me things that helped me be a better player. And then for women, I always looked up to Jeanette because, she's Jeanette Lee. She was number one. She's like a badass, she just, and I also got to know her, and she's a lovely person, and I consider her a friend. We don't talk often, but she's one of those friends that once we get talking, it's like we never stop. And then now I think the player that I admire the most in the men would be Josh Filler, just because, like I said, I feel like he just plays the whole game, and I rarely see that. His position, his kicking, just always seems to be on the right line. You know what I mean? He's just great. And for women, I'm going to say that Jeanette is still my inspiration. She's fighting with her health right now, and I know she loves pool more than anything, and she's just trying to get back to it. And, I totally admire that.
Yeah, for sure. Jeanette Lee was always, I guess, when I was growing up in like the late 90s, early 2000s, men's pool was for the most part off of ESPN by then. Every now and then you'll have like an Efren Earl rerun or something like that, but for the most part the men's pool was off. So I actually grew up watching the females, and I always loved Karen Corr and Jeanette Lee. I always hated Allison Fisher, and I hated Allison Fisher only because she was the one that always won. And I like
a great person though.
No,
she's an amazing person.
Yeah, I've met her since, and it was like it was like probably how people grew up in the early 90s, like hating the Cowboys because they always won in the early 90s. You hate them because you respect them. Okay, yeah. I shouldn't say that because I don't respect the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys. But I disliked, I rooted against her because I respected her so much, and she won everything.
I'm gonna tell her that.
Oh, don't.
I'm gonna run and tell her.
No.
Yeah.
She won all the time. She was so good, and she still is.
Yeah,
like ridiculously phenomenal. Yeah,
absolutely.
But my favorite player to watch was Jeanette Lee as well. She's so solid.
She's great to watch.
She kicks the ball so strong. It's so fun to watch her
get
out of safeties.
She played a lot of three cushion.
Yeah, that makes it. I did not know that about her, but that makes sense because she kicked out of everything.
Yeah, she used to have a three cushion table in her home. Like she had a regular table and a three cushion table next to it.
That's makes sense. You can always tell the people that you can always tell the people that play three cushion, because if you can tell from like the first 5 minutes, if they have an easy jump shot, what I consider an easy jump shot, and they walk up to the table like that, they play three cushion. Like I could have a ball sitting in the jaws, and I would take like a length of the table jump shot before I even thought about kicking it. I'm so petrified
I
of
know,
kicking
I've
the
seen
balls.
that firsthand.
I am so petrified of kicking balls. I'm so terrible at it. But
Oh, I love it. It's my favorite part of the game.
yeah. So when you first got started, and this is from Kathleen Mueller, when you first got started in pool, who did you train under, and who was your coach, if you had one? And do you feel you learned best from? And who did you feel you learned best from, and why?
Want me to go?
Jennifer.
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So when I first started playing, there was the guy that I ran into at Chelsea Billiards, Mark Finkelstein, was the instructor that told me, "Hey, you could go pro." And I worked with him for a little while. He taught me a bunch and steered me to Tony Robles, who taught me a whole bunch as well. But the biggest influence in my game was who Tony steered me to, which is Stu Matana. Probably don't know who he is, but if you've ever watched an AccuStats video, I promise you, he's in the center of the front row in every single AccuStats video. Tons of knowledge about the game, and he worked with me intensively for the first probably 13 years, and now we've been working together close to 18 years, and we still play once a week.
Do you gamble with him? I've always wondered that because you said
Never. Oh my God, no. Stu's not that kind of guy. April knows
okay.
Stu, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
April.
For me, the first person that kind of started training me was June Myers. She was the league director of junior leagues that I started playing like competitively in, and she's the one who told me about BEF Junior Nationals, which is what jump started my entire career. So I have to give her.
I wish somebody would have told me about BEF.
Seriously, I had no idea. If she never ever like it took one pull aside to like change my whole life. She pulled me aside one league and was like, "Would you be interested in this?" I was like, "Yep." Sign me up. And she trained me really hard for like 6 months before that, and like had like a planner for me to do all different sorts of drills, get like really good fundamentals and everything. And so she jump started everything. And then after that, I mean, I've got help from anybody and everybody who wants to. If you learn one thing from somebody, then that was valuable time spent. So I mean, Mark Wilson obviously was my most recent, and I might start up here with like a personal coach soon, just because it's quarantine. What am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, let's just play pool 24/7. That sounds perfect to me.
You could start a podcast. That's a really good waste of time.
It's a good waste of time.
You two ladies must be like ridiculously popular because we get way better questions with you two than we got with Emily and Roy. There's some really good questions in here. Willie Ewing's asked.
Where are they?
Yeah. Willie Ewing's asked, I suggested a pro doubles event, Jack and Jill style, to Matchroom, like the World Cup of Pool. If you were in one of those, so World Cup of Pool, but guy girl, who would be your partner? Who would you want to be your partner?
Oh, does it have to be from your country?
Well, of course.
Of course. That's easy for me. Justin Bergman.
That's
love his game.
His game is so good.
So good.
If I honestly think that if Justin Bergman had the break of Tyler or Shane, I think he'd be spotting the world 3 balls. Like he'd be spotting the world the 7 ball and 10 ball. He shoots the ball straighter than I think anybody in the world. It's just his break.
I think that his pattern play is
it's so good.
Beautiful. It's beautiful to watch.
I do think after the break, Justin Bergman he might be the best. He probably is the best in the world. April?
I have no idea.
You would totally choose me, right?
Obviously. I mean, it's not even. Man, I mean that's really tough. I suck at Scotch doubles, so I'm trying to figure out who I want to tell the public I would want to like lose with, because I seriously just don't play doubles, and like
you and Shane would be great together.
I think that would be the best chance I have. I would just be like, hey, you're gonna be stuck behind a lot of balls, so you can get out of that situation. So let's go. But yeah, probably Shane. Probably Shane. I would.
Shane can correct for a lot of imperfections.
Yes.
Dude knows what he's doing.
I would apologize beforehand and just be like, listen, I've seen you get out of some ish in your life, and I feel like you can get me out of these situations.
I think April's being a little self-deprecating. She plays really good.
Oh no!
Stop it! Just stop it.
If I still tell April, I still tell April this. If I played half as good as she does, as she thinks as she does, I'd be twice as good as I am now. Twice as good.
That's an interesting. I got to think about that one.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
There is.
There's a lot of like these little brain tweezers that are going around on Facebook right now. That seems like it could be one of them. There are so many good questions in here. Well, first off, Mike DeShane said earlier, I forgot. Mike DeShane said he does not discriminate when you were talking about gambling. He plays with anybody too. So
yeah, but have you ever seen the game he tries to give? He won't play a game that isn't a lock. Sorry, Mike, but that's true. We tried to gamble once before, and it was he just would not budge. He won't budge, and so you just give him what he wants, and then you lose, and you're like, why did I do that?
I love you, Jennifer.
I think Mike did lose pretty. I think Mike lost pretty badly to Shane in a race to 100, but that's the only time I could think of him losing a match, and that was when he was playing stupid good. Mike was playing.
Was that a tar match?
I think it was a tar match. Yeah.
Commentator for that, or not the commentator, but I don't know what you would call it. I interviewed them beforehand, whatever you'd call that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
I really liked watching Mike's game when he was playing a lot, like in 2010, 2011, and there when he was playing really, really, really top speed. I just liked watching his game. He was smooth, fast. I like watching him play. But he did have a question, so that was a lead into all that. He says, with the overall cost of expenses continuing to increase year after year, do you think there is a future in pool with this Zoom-style format combined with a ranking system like Fargo? And then do you think that there is a virtual type of tournament that is possible?
I don't think it's going to make money. I mean, I think players would enjoy it. I don't think it would really bring any kind of attention to the game or anything. But yeah, sure, why not?
It would definitely have to be a different style of event, right? Because it's just against the ghost. Or maybe you could do like a straight pool type of thing. You could do high runs. I mean, that would be, but that nobody likes straight pool because it's so hard. Or I'm just talking about, I hate straight pool. It's just such a hard game. But I did get a new run. I got a new high run last month. I'm up to 7 now, so that was pretty sweet.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was my best Jennifer Barretta hair flip.
Hair flip, well done.
Yeah. Wow, what are your thoughts on that, April? Do you think that would be an interesting way to play pool in the future?
I don't know how successful it'll be after the quarantine, but we don't know how long the world's gonna be on shutdown. So
2 more days.
For the time. What?
Everything's opening back up on Easter. Don't you remember? Just kidding. We won't get into politics.
I was gonna say he wanted to, but it got pushed back, I think. But no, So Ryan Klinger, who started the isolation pool tournaments, is from around Minnesota, and they have ideas. They're continuously changing to what people want and everything. So I feel like depending on how long the isolation or the social distance thing goes on is how successful it will be. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it could definitely get a foothold by the time that it could make enough of an impact on the market by the time that the real market comes back, that it could have some staying power.
This is all we really can do right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if everybody's at home trying to play pool for, God forbid, it's 2-3 months or longer, you know what I mean? Then, who knows what would happen. But I think that they're doing really good for what I mean, and they have a great idea and they have a great heart and what they're trying to do, for the situation we're in right now. So
it's definitely an interesting thought. I haven't given any thoughts to that either. That's probably a question. It's Mike. That's too good of a question. You got to let us think on that one for a while. So this is a question from Matthew Moorhead for Jennifer. What is it like owning and operating your own pool room?
I'd never wanted to be a pool room owner. I never thought I would enjoy being a pool room owner. But I really like it, especially the way my pool room is, because it's a real pool room. It's not like clubby, or it's not like a restaurant. It's an actual pool room, so I can keep the equipment the way I like it. It has a nice community feel about it. I think that if it was any other kind of pool room, I wouldn't like it, but the one that I have, I really like.
So this is kind of a fun question. Knowing that playing billiards does not create money trees, would you still encourage your children to play pool or get started in pool?
Well, I have a son, and I wanted him to at least play it. I mean, I wouldn't want him to choose it as career, but he's not interested, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
April's thinking so hard on this. Do you even want children, April? Is this a question that we should be asking right now?
absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely do not.
Yeah.
If I ever have a child, it was a oops, and that's just.
Wow.
I'm super sorry. I'm being honest. I don't think I'll ever. I don't know. I mean, the thoughts occurred once in a while, but then I get scared, and I'm like, yeah, that's not the choice for me. And then, but if I did hypothetically have a child,
That was an oops. Apparently.
that was oops. Their name. I would let them do whatever they would want, because I'm very grateful my dad supports me and my family supports me like they do, because not a lot of, I mean, I'm sure Jennifer, you've experienced the same thing. Not a lot of families are very for pool players being pool players. You know what I mean? They're like, why are you spending all your time in bars? Blah 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 blah. But
I was 29 when I started, so I didn't have that problem.
no, you didn't. Nobody told you
I was already a full adult supporting myself. No one cared what I did.
All right,
And
valid. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And I grew up in a bar since I was 5 years old, because my dad could either take me to the bar and play pool or not take me to the bar, and he can't play pool. So I was in a bar since I was 4 years old.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Well, it's either leave me at home and.
Yeah, I would probably let them do whatever they wanted.
Yeah. So Joey Gray says, April, we played well in Valentine's tournament in Kansas City. So apparently you're lying to us, and you're a great Scotch partner, because Joey Gray just called you out in your BS.
Okay. Here's I did just get called out. First of all, I did. But it was bar box, and it was a really good time, and we won the tournament. But I would definitely take him too. But I was just thinking, we were on the track of Moscone team, and I was thinking out of the 5 Moscone Cup players, I was like, shit. But
So Stuart Rogers, who's from Australia, so welcome to the stream. He said, and we kind of talked about this earlier, but not quite this in depth. What influence is Fargo Raid having on the pool community? And we'll apply that to the women's pool community. And do you think it is a good system?
Well, I think that it's the best system that we could have right now. It certainly helps. When I always have people coming into the pool room that want to play me, and I look them up and I get an idea of how they play. It's great for that. So I think it'll get better as time goes on. Obviously, the more matches you have, the more accurate it's going to be, and the more integrated the sport becomes. When the men start playing the women more, you'll get more accurate numbers.
Yep. Hey, Raleigh Williams joins the joins the group.
Raleigh.
Hello, Raleigh. Sorry to interrupt you, April.
Not at all. Not at all. No, I definitely agree with Jennifer for sure. I mean, I don't really have anything else to add. I was just gonna say, yeah. I think that Fargo rate is the best we have right now, and we just need to continue, improving that system as best we can.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the only limitation to that system is the data, and if you have enough data, I don't think that's. I mean, if you have somebody that's improving 30 points in 3 months, I mean, it's sometimes tough to keep up with it with the system, but
Yeah.
that's also the point of the system. It is a snapshot in time of the evidence that's currently presentable. So, yeah. Raleigh says, "Hey, this is great. Cue it up. Interview roster." Thanks, Raleigh. So, the next question, April, are you going to have a challenge match on the wire now that Rahana has a production team? You work very closely with Ra.
I really, really want to. I've been in talks with a couple people. The thought of me and Pia Filler possibly playing a set has been thrown out many times. So I would definitely be
That would be awesome.
down for that. I think that would be huge for both of us. Especially with the production that On the Wire is doing, I think that that'll give like women's pool kind of a boost. And I'm down to. I mean, I hope just some women's match gets played on that in that room with that production and everything. I think that would be huge to spark some interest in the women's pool again.
I agree. That would be awesome. Jennifer, would you like to play in one?
Yeah, why not?
That would be
absolutely.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
How much information do I want to give away? I can't give away information yet, can I? It'd be fun to see It'd be fun to see you play against our Moscone Cup matchup coming up soon. In a matchup like that, how fun would that be?
Yeah, that would be really fun.
Spoiler alert. I guess I might as well have to say it at this point. So for anybody who pays attention to the podcast page, we are going to be doing Jim Telfer and myself are going to be doing a Moscone Cup style Ghost challenge against the Europeans, and their team is already set in place. The only two that have been announced right now are Darren Appleton and I always pronounce her name wrong. Can one of you two?
Margaret Fefilova.
Margaret Fefilova, yeah.
Fefilova. That's so hard. I can't pronounce that. But I know I suck. But those two have been announced for the European side. The American side has not been announced at all. But I guess I just announced that Jennifer's going to be on my team. So, so we are allowed 2 pros per side, and Jennifer is going to be one of mine. The rest of them will be announced very soon, so that's pretty exciting. But it'd be fun to see you and her play.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. Virtually, though, right? Virtual? We're playing virtually.
Well, it'd be sweet to have you just show up in Los Angeles and play it there.
Yeah, can we do that?
Yeah. So, see if there's any other questions in here. And the On the Wire matchup is starting up, too. So we can probably cut this off, so I'm sure everybody's going to want to go back to watching that. So we'll do one last question, and this is from Kathleen Mueller. Question for both. When you are in a tournament at a crucial point in the match and miss a shot, what do you say to yourself to keep positive?
Well, to stay positive. If I miss the ball, I don't even think about it. If I miss the ball, I think to myself, what went wrong? And once I identify the problem, I just go sit down. And, then I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do it again because I'm aware of it.
My attitude doesn't really change a whole lot during a match. You know what I mean? No matter what happens, I'm just kind of like, you can only do the best you can do. If you miss, I always tell myself before a match, I'm like, you're going to miss. You know what I mean? Yep. Expect to miss because it's going to happen. But you're going to hopefully make more than you miss. So, I just always tell myself, just wait for your next opportunity, you know, like you can't do anything once you miss. Like it's already done, so there's no reason of thinking about it. And you know, it's hard to fade a missed 9 ball. I will say that that's the one thing I need to work on is if it was a crucial 9 ball to get you back in the match, that's really tough to fade. But the champions, as you see, like Allison, Jennifer, you know, all the women's top players, they fade it instantly. You know, like something like that might affect them for like a second or two, but then it's like the new game, it's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't mind expanding on that a little bit because, especially when you're using the templates racks now, especially with 9 ball 2, the 9 ball stays in that little. It basically stays inside the template. If you're hitting the rack like you're supposed to be hitting the rack, you're making the wing ball on the left, and you're sending the 1 ball. You try to send it up, you know, just above the side pocket, so it rests up somewhere in the corner. I guess it depends on the style of table, but needless to say, you get a lot of basically stop shot style shots on the 9 ball, and if you miss one, sometimes 2 of those, and you see the same 9 ball rack after rack after rack, because you're basically shooting the same style 9 ball every time. That is something that is really, really hard to fade when it starts getting into your head that you miss 2 like types of those 9 balls. That messes with me a
But
lot.
see, that's the problem about thinking about it, is that
Yes.
that's when you let it get into your head.
right.
You know, it doesn't serve any purpose to worry about it or think about it after it's done, other than what went wrong. What, you know, what can I do different next time? What step didn't I take that made me miss it?
Right.
I think that there's that's one real aspect where women are a lot more apt to become better at pool than men, because I think men are a lot less rational when it comes to those types of decisions, or at least I am. I think women are a little bit more able to look at a situation rationally like that. Any
I
agreements?
think anybody can look at it that way if they want to. You know, it's a choice. It's a choice how you see it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that gets all the questions or at least most of the questions in the lobby. Would you like to take a couple seconds and thank some of your sponsors?
Go ahead, girl.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna thank Predator Q's, Skyline Billiards, Amsterdam Billiards, Lights Out Clothing.
Those
just
are
happen
really
to be
nice.
wearing it.
Those are really nice jackets.
Yeah. God, am I missing anyone? Do you know who else sponsors me?
I feel like we've done so many interviews together recently. I should know these by now.
You should know. Come on. Those are the big ones. Oh, and my dog.
Yeah, I feel like it's a travesty we didn't get more dog time in here.
I know. He's really cute.
Cute puppers.
I gotta go grab my kittens too and bring them in or something.
Yes.
April?
Okay, I have a lot, so buckle up. I'm very sorry. So obviously Peach Hour, Custom Cues, Kamui, IBA Pool Leagues from back home with Scott Barrett, TNT Billiards. I get my nails done by Sonny Kim. He does them for free, and he does them very, very nicely.
I'll vouch for that. Your nails are awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So much. Then I have a roofing company that just topped on. Love Our Roof wanted to sponsor me, so I was like, I'm not gonna turn you down.
Hey, outside money. That's what pool needs.
Exactly. And then Jam Up.
Oh.
So I got the same. Yep. I felt that when you were like.
We got an apparel fight right now. I need to get sponsored by like Grindin or Hustlin' or something.
Do it.
We could just totally all hate each other, apparel style.
I have to say,
just
though,
rock out the zip-ups.
Kamui sponsors me as well. Forgot that. Sorry.
Kamui, they're so important. Kamui's awesome.
I know, they're awesome.
There are very, very few companies that I would allow to sponsor the podcast because I like to keep all of my opinions completely like middle of the line. Kamui is one that I really like Kamui as a brand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, See if there's anything else. There's nothing else in the lobby, so we can all head back to Chris and Tyler, and everybody else who's watching this. You should probably head over there as well. It is On the Wire Creative Media, which you did not say, April. You also did not say the Cue It Up podcast because you totally said I'm a sponsor for you now.
Obviously.
Wait,
Both of them.
you don't sponsor me though?
Do you want to be sponsored by the podcast?
Wait, what? No.
I told her I will sponsor her in sweatshirts and patches. Would you like sweatshirts and
You didn't
patches?
offer to sponsor me in sweatshirts and patches.
Would you like sweatshirts and patches?
Yes, I would.
If you ask really nicely, I might even throw like a towel in there or something.
Can I get a towel too?
Yes, fine. I will send you a sweatshirt and some patches if you'd like a sweatshirt and some patches. Perfect. That was fun. This was a blast. I mean, it's always a blast to get to talk to both of you. And I don't just say that, like, I say that to all my guests because I'm supposed to. You two are like the only people that I've ever talked to where I mean it.
Do you believe that, April? Come on.
I'm just gonna, play along. It's all
Okay, all right. We'll pretend like we're just gonna pretend like we believe you.
Professional
Thank you
actress
so much.
here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we can tune off, and till next time.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.